Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I hope that you are all doing great. I really enjoy the collectives because it's a chance for all of us to come together and to work collectively to improve. So these are really fun for me also because we kind of go away from the script a little bit and explore some different topics. So today I'm going to be looking at my own sort of focus on love and relationships, which is not just about your person. It's going to begin with you. Today's forecast I always like to start off with channeled messages because I've been receiving all kinds of symbols and signs in my dreams for the past few nights. So I'll be bringing forth some of those in the channeled messages. And then I want to look at this in three major parts today. Basically, we'll be doing multiple spreads. So it'll be sort of my typical layout within the spreads, but we're going to kind of concentrate them on specific areas. So we'll begin with a general that is focused on self, because if we don't look at you and we don't know what's going on with you, everything that's around you is kind of somehow rooted in that truth. So we'll begin with self-love, self-acceptance, and just you. So general reading, but a focus on how you can be more at ease with yourself. Then we're going to look at existing relationships, so that those of you that might be experiencing some problems, we can look at how that person is kind of relating to you. Then we're going to look at new things that you could be pulling into your life. So even for those of you that may not be focusing solely on love, those relationships can include coworkers, family, friends. So when you're looking at the cards and kind of focusing on this, just look at the person that you're most curious about with respect to these different sections, and it should resonate. And then we'll do a meditation at the end. And I always pull a final card. So as we go through this sort of course of three different spreads today, if there's something that I don't cover, then save it and send a silent question and prayer at the end, and I'll pick up a card and we'll take a look at that. Okay. I'm going to put Apollo down so that we can focus and get started today. So first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone. It's so many different countries kind of saying hello right now, and a lot of channel members too. It's good to see everybody. Thanks for showing up, and thanks for letting me spend some time with you today. I know you have a lot of choices, and I'm honored that you chose to spend this time with me. So let me just get my table clear here a little bit, and let's talk about how everything's going to work today. First of all, before I begin, because we're going to be doing so much today, I will not be able to take questions. I have a bonus reading this month, and I think I'll probably focus it on retrograde because I think we have a retrograde coming up. So for that, I might take some questions in advance from channel members. But for today, we're going to be focusing really on the collective messages, and I have a lot that I have to get through. So just save that for a future reading, or save it till the end, because at the end of every reading, I do a silent question that I answer. If you like what you see here and you'd like to show support, you can do that by using super stickers or super chat during the presentation, and I appreciate it. I'll be using my favorite decks today. Whenever I do a collective, I kind of choose my favorites, and I would say almost every one of these was supplied from your support, so thank you. If you happen to be watching this on replay, you can use the applause as well. It's between the share and the like buttons, and it works just the same. And those are the main things here. Of course, if this is new and it just got recommended to you, take a moment to hit subscribe so you don't miss me in the future. You can even do the bell icon if you haven't. If you're already a channel member or subscriber, just remember to hit thumbs up at some point during this video. It helps with engagement, so do comments later. All right. So, like I said, it would not be one of my readings if I didn't begin somehow with the channeled messages. For me, I also choose a dream totem or a totem in nature that comes through. And a couple nights ago, as I was starting to tune into the messages for the collective, I was visited specifically by a butterfly in my dream. And I was told by my guides that the number 2 was significant with it. I couldn't tell if it was 2 days or 2 weeks. And as I did some research on butterflies, I found out that the average lifespan for many species is just a few days or a few weeks. Monarchs can live up to a year or like 9 months, but most butterflies have a much shorter lifespan. So let's take a look at this beautiful insect. It's really gorgeous, actually. I've been running into them lately here in Los Angeles because we're in spring and there's tons of flowers. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. I post a lot of pictures of flowers in my stories, or in the little California archive there. You can see it if you'd like to. Apollo and I take walks, and I like to share what we see. So What I love about the butterfly is that it represents so many different things. It represents change, life and death, cycles. It also represents sort of like the Fool type energy, and we're going to get into all of that and how it can relate to you. Okay, so let's get started. Your spirit totem is the butterfly. And again, 2 came up with this. So for me, it was very much a time representation. So 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 months. It felt shorter than longer, okay? So to me, there felt like there was a need for you to focus on making the most of something that would be like ephemeral, short-lived, but impactful. So like I said, after doing some research, some butterflies live very briefly. There's even some species of moth that I believe that don't even have they're not able to eat. They just basically live for a few days, reproduce, and that's their lifespan. But when it comes to butterflies, they can live a lot longer, definitely a few days to a few weeks. Some of them, like I said, up to 9 months. And even that is very symbolic to me because it is all about life and death. And that's the amount of time to give birth to a child. So same sort of thing here where we would be maybe starting something new. All right. So I just talked about that 9-month period. Basically, I think you're entering a period of change in your life, and you may feel like you're kind of going through a lot at once in that state of metamorphosis. If you ever look at a video on butterflies and metamorphosis, it's kind of amazing when they go into the chrysalis state and everything, because what happens is it's almost like this soup. They basically recreate themselves. There's a reinvention energy with that. So if you are bored in your life, or if you found that you kind of hit a wall, or you're not finding success in trying to get to the next level, then what this is telling you is that that's okay. You're probably supposed to let go and try something different. Trying again and again the same thing, not necessarily key. This is especially important in relationships. I feel like the main message here is either change or move on. There's got to be some sort of change and development going on. Apollo agrees as he's getting his bed back there together. He always makes me laugh in the background as I'm trying to focus. He's trying to get himself settled there. All right, so what I was going to say here is that sometimes you have to let things fall away in order to create room for the new you. So what this means is there may be someone in your life that is moving on, figuratively or literally. There could just be someone that's like moving out, moving on. There could also be, you could be working past a loss of someone in your life that you loved. And there's this period now of who am I without this person, or what am I supposed to be doing? And so sometimes we feel like we're in that soup of creation. What am I supposed to be? And the answer here, of course, is it's always up to you. But I'm going to try to lay out some of the main goalposts here that are coming through. Okay. Let's get into some fun facts about the butterfly. I always like to do a little research on the totem that comes through. Did you know that they actually drink or taste? They don't drink. They taste through their hands or their feet. And then they don't really have a mouth. They have this kind of straw-like thing that's called a proboscis, I think it's called. It's basically, it looks like a big straw. It's that curly thing that comes out and tastes the flowers. What I'm looking at with this is it's a reminder to basically, they're always tasting or sensing their environment. They're not kind of walking through blind. So if we could do the same, reminding ourselves that every moment is worth drinking in, is worth experiencing, I think that's key. It's precious. We spend a lot of time sometimes like just spilling time out, and it's as if we're going to have this endless store of it. We don't know how many days we have. We don't know how many opportunities we have, and we should really spend each as if this was our last day on the planet. And if you started to live life that way, you would kind of approach arguments, stress at work, a disappointment, a broken glass, whatever. It would all be a lot different, because this, in comparison to my life and in the context of this day and how much time I want to spend on fixating on this, it would change the reaction. The stress would go down, and then the forward-looking gaze would take you back to your goal. So the butterfly constantly kind of tasting, sipping, drinking, sensing its surroundings reminds us to be very present. And I liked that little fact that I found out about them. When I think of a butterfly, if I were to create a death card, it would probably have a butterfly on it, rather than like the old skeleton that we see so often, because it does remind me, for the reasons that we were talking about, of a death symbol for me, but also a rebirth. Because the caterpillar, goes into either a cocoon or a chrysalis, depending on if it's a moth or a butterfly, to become something else. So there is the death of one, and then there's the birth of another, but it's still the same sort of energy. It didn't actually die, it just recreated itself. So you could kind of see this as, again, transformation or metamorphosis. And I like that kind of energy. It doesn't mean that you don't have to die to change. We came into this lifetime to try new things. We come with a little bit of amnesia in this lifetime so that we can see partners and people and friends in a different light. But you can have that sort of change happen without having to die and be reborn. So you, collective, everyone that showed up today or watches this later on replay, you have the capacity over the next 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days to make some serious changes in your life. And I would say this video that I'm making is kind of timeless. You could watch it at any point and get the messages that you need. But that being said, what do you want to change? And are you willing to kind of embrace some of the opportunities that are coming through? Because they are short-lived, they are ephemeral, and you have to do the most that you can with them in the time that's given. Nothing lasts forever, but that also is reminding, like a butterfly is showing you nothing lasts forever, but also ends bring new beginnings. And I would say it's that sort of brief period of time that you spend with something that also gives it value. If we were to be immortal, it's kind of interesting if you ever watch immortals in TV or read them in books, they're usually bored. They usually become not such likable characters because they don't have respect for life. We have respect for life because we know it won't be here forever. So the relationships in your life now, the opportunities in front of you now, all of these things have context and value because they may not be there forever. So I want you to take advantage of this moment and really say, I love you to the people that you love, to stop spending time with people that are bringing grief or heartache, to start doing things that bring you love and joy, because without love and joy, the heart withers and it's hard to have to be like the Ace of Cups overflowing if this isn't working. And when I just did my newsletter, which was really more of a mid-month newsletter, the Ace of Cups came through as the last card. So we'll be focusing on how to kind of like fill you up as we look at this next this first spread that I'll be pulling out in just a moment, okay? All right. You have a chance to make a big change, but there's a trade-off. This is very much like the Two of Pentacles message that we would see in tarot. So I can have maybe this, but probably not this and this at the same time. Or if I have both of these, I can't give 100%. So you have a choice right now to prioritize and to pick something to really give 110% if you would like to. There is probably a warning that you might be spreading yourself too thin. When I see Two of Pentacles in respect to love, I would say either you could be infatuated with the person, or you could be maybe not giving as much energy as you need to. Balance. So this is really an opportunity to find that balance. And there might be something in your life that requires you to lean on that partner and see if they're willing to allow you to be a little bit more right now and maybe focused in work or focused on education or personal health. So it doesn't mean that denying them some energy is actually somehow a bad thing, but you're going to have to work together at achieving balance and the trade-off as a part of this, okay? So the other thing here is speed. I was surprised. Most butterflies, I think it was around 7 to 10 miles per hour. But some butterflies, the fastest ones can reach up to 37 miles per hour. And I did have the kilometers there. It's like 60 kilometers per hour. Pretty fast for a little insect that is lighter than paper. So what I see with this is that you have this chance to make some really rapid changes. Speed, the ephemeral nature, the short-lived nature of things, and picking up, making up for lost time. These are all elements that I'm getting with the butterfly. It's fleeting too. So there's something important in this period that I feel like you have to really pay attention to. Spread your wings, try some new things. Again, there could be regret for not going out there on the limb and seeing what is available to you. And finally, most importantly, and we'll be looking at this kind of in the latter part of this reading today, but there could be someone or something new that's coming in, particularly someone new. And they may appear briefly, but they could have a profound effect on you. It could be someone that teaches you. It could be someone that, an old flame that comes back into your life and you learn something this next time that you connect. It could just be someone that's sort of a chance encounter. It's not going to last forever, but there's something really important from it. So ephemeral energy, short-lived energy, but a massive impact is what I'm also picking up on with your relationships at present. Okay. Let's move along to the next message. So the butterfly took a lot of the channeled messages, but it was really important, particularly the number 2, 2 days, 2 weeks, or however 2 relates to you. The next one was really cool. I'm going to talk about it, then I'll look at the cards here. But just to summarize, what I saw was it was kind of a symbol of being in a depot, like a bus depot. But what came before it was I saw that I was coming from a class, coming from a lesson. And I didn't recognize the people. I really didn't like the train or the bus ride. It looked more like a train to me. I didn't like the train ride because the people just weren't, I wasn't connecting with them. But when I got to the train station, maybe trying to make my next connecting sort of train ride, then I recognized people. I saw teachers, I saw friends, I saw family, and it felt good. And we tried to make a plan. We were like, how can we make sure that we meet again in this sort of weird thing that we're doing? What I realized was that this was a metaphor for life, for this life. The train station is the in-between station between coming to this planet and the next. The lesson, the class that I was coming from was the past life. And I couldn't remember it all because you can't remember your past life very well, but you recognize souls. I saw people that weren't acting like they did like they were in the bodies that I recognize them in now, but they didn't act like we do now in this lifetime. So what's happening is there's a karmic reunion on the sort of, I would say, on the horizon for you, because this grouping of people, we pulled some extra chairs and we said there's more coming. So I feel like your soul family is calling in a few extra people. This could mean for some of you that maybe a friend or a child or a relative is getting married, and the partner that they're bringing in or the in-laws that they're bringing in, they're actually karmic partners for you. You're going to recognize them, either gel with them, or you're going to have a really other sort of strong reaction to them, because soulmates can be one way or the other. It's not always sort of easy peasy. Sometimes they're here to teach tougher lessons to us. So I see an extended family or an extended sort of connection happening for you, and there's new karmic lessons as a part of that. So anyway, I was just talking about the train station. The train station is actually where we are before we come into this body, and we kind of recognize each other up there, and then we decide we're going to take on new roles. But then the train ride is this lifetime, and I think we're on it right now, and you're going to meet some new people. Let's see, I would say for you, we always have a chance. We have chance encounters that don't sometimes last as long as we want them to. So that's the sort of ephemeral energy that I'm picking up on here. Really allow for whatever comes through, just to celebrate it. Don't push it away. Don't be afraid. I feel like you've earned this moment to kind of connect with the people that are coming in for you. Again, it's a karmic reunion, family reunion, but not necessarily in blood, more in karma, soul reunion, if you will. When people say they're looking for soulmates, sometimes I feel like I want to be one of the ants in Practical Magic that says, be careful what you wish for, because soulmates can carry with them a lot of baggage. So what I want you to try to do as you identify some new people coming into your life is kind of like close your eyes and think, what am I being triggered as? Like, what's the familiarity? What's the discomfort? What can I do to make sure that I work on myself so I'm not being as triggered by those people? Once you kind of release the karma, then you have whatever you'd like to do with that relationship. It's fine. The karma comes in as a lesson. You can do what you want to release the karma, and then it's just a person. And then you can create hopefully better karma in this lifetime with them. Speaking of people taking on different roles, for some of you, it's really important to know that parents that come into our life, our biological parents, it was basically just a conduit for us to come onto this planet. But sometimes an aunt, a neighbor, even someone else in life, a teacher, can kind of take on a role of a parent, and they can be sort of like a proxy guardian or parent. And that chosen family is actually more important. The mom or the dad that raised you is the true mom and dad. And if you're adopted, maybe this was a message you need to hear. The biological one was just the one that brought you onto the planet. Whatever they decide to do now or whatever they did, that was their life, their karma, their choices. But I guess the focus right now would be on the chosen family in your life. If you have people around you that love you and care for you, then you're fine, you're loved. And those are your family. That's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, even if you don't share chromosomes and any sort of genealogical sort of lineage. it doesn't matter, because the same way you can love a new person in your life, maybe like an adopted child, a pet that you rescue, or a partner that has, no connection with you, because that's how it works. But you love them all the same. Same thing happens here. So I guess I'm encouraging you to just look around you and see the richness of the chosen family and friends, and spend some time developing that too, because I feel like in many ways that's so much stronger and more pleasant sometimes than family, because you can't choose family, but you're sort of bound to them because of obligations. So find some people that you're not obligated to be around, spend some time, develop some relationships, and celebrate those bonds, because that's going to help you when the other stuff drives you crazy, right? Okay. Finally, and this is probably family related, I saw a fight or a disagreement that was happening, and it's because someone in your life is afraid of seeing you progress. So this could be a friend. They hear that you're getting like a raise at work, maybe a transfer, and, oh, I heard that's a terrible place. Oh, that office is really bad. Oh, are you sure you can do that? There's a lot of pressure associated with this. It could be a parent saying, are you sure you're smart enough for this, or whatever. Sometimes people will say truly terrible things just to kind of like keep us where we're at. So process what could be a out of left field remark, take it with a bag of salt, and really look at who is saying it and thinking like, well, wait, what could possibly be their motive to say that sort of thing to me, because it hurt my feelings. And then just decide, well, maybe I'm on to a newer, better path, and it's growth, and it's just fear and an attachment that is holding them to me. You've worked too hard to get this next opportunity on the horizon. And again, the key here is short-lived, ephemeral, or your moment. So this moment won't last forever. If there's something really great that is in front of you, don't let a relationship, lover, parent, friend, boss, or whomever stand in the way because they're jealous or they don't believe in you. It could just be a test from the universe to make sure that you believe in yourself. And that's the true sort of lesson here. Okay. So this definitely had a sort of overarching energy of relationships, change, transformation, and a short period of time is something that keeps coming through. So pay attention to how that kind of works for you. But with the butterfly as your symbol, it wasn't the caterpillar, it wasn't the metamorphosis of the chrysalis state or the cocoon, it was the after state that I see, the butterfly. So my message to you is you're already who you want to be, but the recognition, the judgment card, for instance, it's kind of reversed. You don't believe in yourself. So believe in yourself, or you could believe in yourself even more. I want to see you shine. I want to see you really spread your wings. And then the train station, there's going to be a reunion. There's going to be a reconnection with someone from either the past or a past life, and you just want to kind of like home in on that karmic energy to figure out what it means to you. There's a reminder that family, the biological family, is often not as strong as friends and chosen family in your life. So that is what it is. Try not to beat yourself up if your parents fell short, but you have a really cool mentor that's always been there for you. That was your true mom. That was your true dad. And that's all that matters, because someone stepped in and took the energy and took the mantle. If you didn't have that in your life, maybe you're going to do something to give back to, disadvantaged or troubled youth so that they have that as well. And then finally, don't let someone hold you back. Those are your main messages. We're not going to review them today because we have so many spreads to go through. So that's why I did a little mini review there. But you can look at this on my social media. So go to my website. By tomorrow, it should be up. And Instagram, Facebook, the community tab here on YouTube, even Pinterest. I put it on all those places. So if you haven't already, you can click on the pinned link above, or you can go to my website, click on the social tab, and get all the links there. So let's now change the focus. And I'd like to begin, as I said, we have to figure out where you're at today or whenever you see this so that we can figure out where you're headed. So we're going to start a reading with self-love and how you're feeling and acceptance. And then I'll look a little bit in the periphery, but then we're going to look at existing and new relationships after this. But unlike other readers, I want to focus on you first. Then we'll look at the people around you, because if I don't know what you're doing, how can I actually pull the context into your people? And your people are not just lovers, they are friends, they are coworkers, they are children. And so we'll frame it up as such, okay? So I do a sort of different take on love and relationships because it's not just about who you're dating. All right, so let's focus on you, the collective. What messages are coming through for self-love, for self-acceptance, and we'll take it from there. And I didn't have a chance to tell my moderators what I'm using, so I'm using Lightseer's deck here to begin with. You can look at that on my website if you need a link. Again, looking at the collective and what lessons are coming through for you so that you can have healthier relationships and better opportunities. Focus on self. First of 3 spreads. We won't be doing mini reviews or I would never get through all of them. I'll just do my best to wow, we've got some really big cards here. I'll do my best to just get through them and relay all the information. Later today, I'll put bookmarks in the video so you can find all of this, but it usually takes me a little bit of time. Self-love, self-acceptance, personal experiences, and how they relate to others. Self first. We're still going to see others in this spread, but others through the lens of you, and others as a result of like what you're bringing into the equation. Okay, good stuff, great stuff. All right, let's pull the camera up. Let's talk about what we see. Okay, we have the Sun card here as your catalyst. Great message coming through. This is ego, this is self, this is personality, this is charisma. For some of you, this is a child too. So the first thing that I see here is that you're coming through really strong. I like this. And power dynamics are going to be really important. Solar plexus, also part of the Sun card. And the caption on this says, enjoy success and happiness. Amen to that, right? So this is a time for you to, like I said earlier, we're really trying to get your Ace of Cups, your heart space overflowing with love and energy. And the way to do that is through feeling a sense of fulfillment, through being happy. So everything you see in this beautiful solar card here, I want you to try to create in your life. We're looking at a new cycle. If I see the sun, it can also be one revolution around the sun. From this until your next birthday, for instance, it can also be summertime. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're getting really close to that. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's next season, but you can kind of set your goals according to that as well. All right, I like what I see. Again, a baby, a birth, or a delivery of some sort can also be a part of this message. And it's, of course, divine masculine, so taking some action upon things. Your center card is about controlling things. So the Chariot, I like this Chariot a lot. It's showing action. It's also showing like getting out of a sort of stuck situation. He's not just in the driver's seat. He got on top so he could get a better look at what's going on. So if you're in a leadership position, one of the things that this card is really imparting on you is the importance of not getting sort of closed in. And for all of us this year, this is so important because we spend a lot of time sort of like behind these imaginary windows, right? We're talking through one right now. So this is sort of like making sure that you take a moment to get out and see things or to connect with people as allowed, of course, depending on what's going on in your country with the pandemic, et cetera. But stay in control, but also stay connected. This is a Chariot driver that hasn't lost connection with the rest of the world, but you should be in control. And this is power, and this is power. To me, this isn't the most powerful power card. A lot of times this would be sort of like middle management, self-control. It's sort of like in the middle of the ranks. So wherever you're at, you should be at least at the point where you feel like you're on the level with others and you should be managing things a little bit. But it doesn't mean like you have to be the president or the top of something. I just want to see you step up a little bit, and I feel like that's going to help you. And then we got the Two of Pentacles, which I talked about in the sort of general channeled messages. This is a choice between you and between something else. And we see sort of like a purse here and a pentacle in the sky. So for some of you, this could be the dream because it seems sort of ethereal, right? Not quite grounded. This is maybe for some of you what's practical or what's expected. So mom and dad want me to be a lawyer, but I want to be like a violinist or something. Or it could also be like, I'm making a lot of money at this job and I studied to do this, but my heart and my mind and my soul tells me I need to do this. Maybe I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to just try this with or without that training because I have an ability to do it. It's taking your dream, taking your vision and figuring out, I can do this. Whatever I need to make happen between this and between something else, I can do this. Notice how it's not about someone else here at the center. Nothing is about someone else yet. This is about being in control of yourself. This is about owning your vision and making a choice that makes sense for you. Now we're getting into people. It's really interesting because in your destiny card, we have another one, almost the same color, very similar energy. So we have Three of Cups and we have 3 to 1. Some of you are challenged with trying to make a choice with who to love, with what to do, with what others expect of you. Let's just take it a card at a time. The Three of Cups is lovely. It's a card that often comes through when there's a celebration. It can usher in new love, but it can also show pressure or expectations or gossip from friends, family, and community. This is more of a sort of like sisterly or brotherly card where we're seeing that sibling energy here, sisterly as it's drawn. But what I would say with this is also, I think they're looking at, looking at the Big Dipper here, but I wanted to see if it was like the 7 sisters. But anyway, whatever, with the back to the Three of Cups. I feel like some of you are at a point where you are trying to figure out, who am I in connection to the people around me? What do I want to do? Will they still love me? Am I ready to make a commitment? There's a lot of questions, more questions than answers that come through with the Three of Cups. And I would say for you, what you really want to focus on is, what do you want? What are you trying to do? And I see some questions about what this is for. It's for everybody. If you just joined, it's for you. Welcome. It's per the title, collective. And one thing that I do that's different than other readers, I'm not going to sit here and then do 12 different readings in the same one. If you joined, just like if we were doing a seminar or a group reading, I'm reading your energy. So have a seat, relax, enjoy. Three of Cups. Opportunities are coming in. Some are fleeting. A lot of times I see the Three of Cups as a sort of like revolving door. So I guess what's important to you is to decide what feels right. What do I want to connect to? And you're going to have to lead the charge because you have the Chariot here at the center. People are waiting for you to sort of like take a stand, to make a decision. All right, Six of Swords. This is the separation. This is the thing falling away. This is the sort of thing that you are letting go of when you go into a chrysalis state or into a cocoon state. So it's not truly sort of like, it doesn't have to be like a loss of a loved one. It doesn't have to be a loss of a job. It could just be a decision that I don't want to do this anymore. We've all been there, right? It could be a decision to move from a place that you're living because it's not allowing you to grow. It could be a decision that this career or this relationship is inhibiting my ability to grow. There is something that you need to step away from and let go of, but there's also something to look forward to. And I like how there's 3 birds in the past and there's 3 in the future. So she's not being tethered by the past. She's actually being drawn by the opportunity of the future in this particular card, which is cool. We have the King of Swords here in the crowning position. Communication, communication, communication. It's really important to pick your words wisely, to listen to what's going on around you, and to realize, I like this card because he's kind of like the king of the mountain. So with the King of Swords here, it's showing me that I think the most important thing for you right now is to get some perspective. How long did it take to get where you're at? Once you got there, how did it feel? Why are you maybe feeling this sense of comparing yourself to others or wondering what's going on? You can do whatever you put your mind to. This is a very strong card. Some of you could be calling in a strong air sign as well. But this to me, the way that it shows up in the spread is really your mental state. So focus on how powerful your communication is right now. Communication to yourself and communication to others. Positive growth and change here with the 3 of Wands. 2 threes here. So this is showing a lot of different people that could be coming in. This is showing me that, as I said before, there might just be a short-lived, really fun connection that brings forth something cool. So you could meet a mover and a shaker, a changer, someone that can kind of come into your life and say, oh yeah, this is the person that we need for this job, and we'll spend a little bit of time and then they move on, but they connected you or pulled you into something. Could be someone really well known. It could also just be someone that recognizes something maybe that you don't even see, and they're going to help you get there. I do see something short-lived with that, but what I see for you is that there's a really cool future in store for you here. The next quarter of the year is looking good. Three of Wands is about personal development, new opportunities. If you do start a new relationship, this bodes well as well. So I like this. I like what I see with this. Your overall energy is pretty good. Taking control, making a choice with the Two of Pentacles, letting go of something, and then focusing, not getting so distracted on this, but in focusing instead on, okay, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to do it. And maybe someone's going to come in that's going to help pull these two together, and I'm going to take advantage of that opportunity. I said before, judgment was really key. If you believe in yourself, it's upright, then you've got nowhere to go but up. And this is also a metamorphosis card. She's more than what she is here in this particular physical body. She's more than what she is in this moment in time. She sees the potential and she's going to go after that potential. She trusts, she has faith. Do you have faith in yourself? Faith is not just believing in a higher purpose or a higher God. It's also like yourself. Do you believe in what you can do? Because this card says you should. And if anyone comes in between you and that faith, they're not the right person for you. Okay? Guess what? We got the sun again. It's in the environment. This is a very, I would say this is a synchronicity. This could be a soul partner that you're looking for, a soul mate. I don't really use the word twin flame as much, but it could be something like that. This is two parts of the same whole. So this could be you just really aligning with the soul purpose. Because if we look at this sun, she's really connecting to her soul, right? It's not so much about another person. The other person may bring in the recognition, this is who you are. But she sees, and I also like that we have a divine feminine with the divine masculine. We've had a few cards over the past few days that have combined that. But anyway, she sees that this is who I am and this is what I can do. I'm going to do it. Charisma, whatever your rising sign is, you should take a look at your rising sign video that I did either last month or this month to see what's coming through, because your rising or ascendant is going to have a big effect on some of your decisions. How you are projecting yourself to others is going to be so important right now, because that's actually what this is showing. What's around you and how people are picking up on you. So people like what they see, and we saw that at the beginning. You have to like what you see too. Otherwise, this card gets basically erased. So if you believe in yourself, you could pull in a new partner, you could pull in a new job, you could push your business further, you could do some really cool things. This is attractive, very attractive. Think of what our sun does. It's the glue for this solar system, right? So there you go. You're the glue. You can bring some things into your life. Hello, World card. It's reversed, but it's still super strong. So the World card is ends and beginnings. It's also part of the butterfly metaphor that we talked about earlier. I'm going to geek out. I think these might even be like platonic solids around this. But anyway, it's showing me that you have everything that it takes to make something happen. She's stepping through a portal, through a doorway. The card is reversed. Judgment wasn't. So judgment tells me that you know what you need to do. You know how to do it. Maybe you haven't chosen to do it yet. There's always a little bit of hesitation or a little bit of work that has to happen after judgment. Judgment's here, but we need the King of Swords to help us take the action. So what are you going to say? What are you going to do to turn this right side up and walk through the portal? Because somebody's waiting. Maybe you're waiting to sign a contract. Maybe someone's waiting for you to pick up the phone and talk to them. Nobody does this anymore. It's more like this. But anyway, to pick up the phone and talk to them. Or maybe you need to release something. This is a really good card for those of you that own a business, because this shows production. It shows visibility, distribution, broadcasting, being seen. This is a very, very, very visible card as well. So the sun in the world tells me that you should be trying to make a big splash right now. And if you're not, it's a wasted opportunity. We have the Empress card at the end. We got a lot of suns here. So to me, those are both like babies, childs, opportunities, portals. We have a very pregnant Empress card here, but it's really symbolic on creation of something, not necessarily someone. So the two suns are really what we see here. So what are the two things that you need to choose between? You may have to look at the timing, one now, one later. So no matter what, Empress card is really good for growth and fertility. If someone's trying to have a baby, we got two sons, there's a chance for twins. There's a chance that some of you, I had a weird message around biological parents. Some of you may be doing like 23andMe or whatever that is. You might find someone in your family that you didn't know. And then it's that question again, like, who's my parent? And the message I had earlier is the parent was the one that raised you, the one that was there. The other one is the biological component, and you can try to develop a relationship with them. But because I wrote it, well, I didn't write it down. I had it write it down. I had it in my dream, but I said there could be something about a shared mother. So to me, there's something where you might discover someone that you didn't know, or it feels like a brother or sister, or you might see someone entering into your life. Could even be your partner, and then a parent all of a sudden is more drawn to that person than you, and it's like, hey, I'm your child. So just don't worry about that. Sometimes that's the way things work. You can't control chemistry, but a lot of interesting things coming through with mother energy, with child energy, and that might be something that you want to focus on healing first before we look at existing and new relationships. How is the core relationship in your life? I specifically saw mother. If you have two fathers, it would be the more maternal of the two, or it might be you trying to find your surrogate or something like that. Anyway, focus on that and then realize ultimately this is the control card that I was looking for. I like the Chariot, but I'd rather have the Empress or the Emperor. And if I had a choice between the Empress and the Emperor, I'll take the Empress because she has the ability to create, to nurture, and to control. It's a gentler energy and it's a lot more fun to work with. So you have the chance to mold things. Think of it as sort of like being throwing pottery and being able to mold that clay, right? So what do you want to make? What do you want to do? That's basically what the Empress card is asking you, okay? Let's move along to the expanded forecast. It's all about doorways and portals today. And this makes perfect sense. We're looking at self and ego here. This is in health, basically. Doorway to romance, but the card is reversed. What's really interesting about this card is the caged sort of bird metaphor here. And they look like butterflies, all the little hearts. So unconditional love. If it's not unconditional, if someone tries to hold you back, like we were talking about here, there might be someone who is afraid of losing you or seeing you grow. Don't let that happen. This is your chance to grow. So that was actually a litmus test to figure out how strong the relationship was. True love means that cage doesn't exist or the door is open and you can come and go as you see fit. So openness in relationships is what's healthier for you at this point in time. And for some of you, maybe it's too open for you because we have 2 3s. And for me, that can be maybe one of your partner might want to bring in other people in the relationship and that doesn't feel good to you, or vice versa. And that's something you'll have to explore because we have the cage metaphor here and then we have very open metaphors as well. There could also be timing that is inconvenient that's going on around you. You're trying to focus on something and someone comes into your life. Hello, law of detachment, right? So I would say you're going to have to, in this situation, kind of make a choice and find the balance. It doesn't mean that you have to do one or the other, but it may mean that you have to focus more on one and you have to see if the partner's willing, if they're the one that's not being as prioritized to kind of support you. Again, this is a test. You take turns in relationships, and I think balance is really the key here. But if someone tries to shut you out of something or shut you down, this card is saying, not this time, not this lifetime, all right? You got to really find your voice this month. We're not really reading this in respect to health because most of this is about love, but let's look at what's healthy. I'm going to reframe the way I would normally do the expanded forecast. So unconditional love is healthier. Not having all of the sort of limits or constraints is healthier. Open-heartedness is healthier. And if there's anyone that is pulling back a little bit, because 6 of Swords can be just that, they weren't ready for the commitment that is necessary. They felt perhaps tied down by saying, yes, you're the one, or yes, let's make this serious. So that's your test, and that's how you can factor in what's healthy. Now let's look at wealth, which is going to be what brings opportunity to you, how your self-worth is affected. Again, we're looking at it slightly differently through the lens of love and relationships as we do this reading. We have Archangel Ariel, who's coming through to help you stand your ground. Amen. Peaceful warrior. So sometimes you can win a fight by saying nothing. You can win a fight by walking out. You can win a fight simply by doing the right thing. The other person can just sit there and chatter, and it makes them look the fool because you don't have to prove that you're right. And what I see with this really strong warrior energy here is know when to act, know when to speak, and know when enough is enough. And the peaceful energy here is about that. Also, if someone in your life chooses to always start a fight, even if it's passive aggressively, I would say especially if it's passive, then you need to really reevaluate that. Sometimes there can be a friend or a neighbor, you have a conversation and everything has to be contrary. That person's not your friend. That person's not at peace. They're not adding something to the equation. They're getting in under your skin and they're seeing what the reaction will be. So in this case, you would just sort of peacefully say, well, I need to go now. Have a great day. You don't have to have an argument. You don't have to prove who's right. Let them win that little nothing argument. You've got bigger fish to fry, bigger things to worry about. And this card is really saying it's time to do just that, okay? Wealth. Stand up for yourself. If there is something that now we're going to take a different sort of angle on this if it's about work, because we're going to remember it's not just friends, it's not just lovers. If this is a work relationship, all you need is the facts. You don't have to fight. You don't have to have some sort of big drama. Focus on the facts, deliver the facts, and deliver it with peace and authority. She's certainly not weak, right? So she would say, we said we were going to do this. I have it in writing. You're contractually obligated to do it. So you're either going to do it or I'm going to call my lawyer. How should we proceed? That's a nice, peaceful way to state the facts. It's a warrior, but it's a warrior that's using gentle words, facts, and not getting upset. And if the person doesn't work, then you just, that's an example there. You just make something happen, but don't talk about it. Don't fight about it. Just stick to the facts. Okay? So stand your ground, but don't get emotional, basically, is what she's saying. Okay? Thank you, Ariel. We all needed to hear that on some levels, I'm sure. Because sometimes you just have someone who's afraid to see you shine. And sometimes there's not room for two suns. There's a lot of binary star systems out there. But there's also sometimes if you look at astronomy, if the star gets too close to the other star, one star will consume it, or it ejects out, or one of them becomes a black hole, or something crazy happens. So sometimes people just can't basically deal with this kind of power, because she has the solar energy here. We have divine feminine that is channeling divine masculine. And we also have divine masculine that's able to channel the divine feminine. So you just may be too hard for people to understand because you are not fitting in to the cookie cutter that they expect you to be. Too bad, because you have something wonderful to show, and you can do this on your own, for sure. We have the World and we have the Empress card. So if you need to do it, you need to walk away, you need to go somewhere else, just make sure that you have that plan B lined up so that you have your safety net. I don't want you to kind of not have that safety. But what I see here is that strength, facts, action, you'll be fine as long as you stick to that. All right, let's look at love, which is what this is all about today. It's all about being grounded, which I really, really like here. We've got a lot of angel cards today. I like this. And butterflies and flight and suns. It's a really beautiful spread for you. Don't lose track of who you are. This is so important. Mothers, teachers, nurses, doctors, best friends, and caretakers. This is especially for you. Take time to take care of you, not just the other person. Don't lose you. Don't lose your personality. Don't lose your health. Don't lose your mind and your focus. It's so easy, especially if you have a lot of kids or a lot of people that are depending on you. So take some time to take care of yourself. The grounding energy is really focusing. We talked a little bit about this with the Libra reading that I did last. So I want you to focus on the lower three chakras, especially since we got the solar plexus coming in today. So your root chakra, safety, security, the sexual chakra, the second one, which is about expression and being able to really explore different things, which is what the butterfly was helping us do. And then the solar plexus, the sun, which is our power, our strength, our ability to really shine. Those three chakras are going to be important. So work with them. And, you know, make sure that one of the things that you can do, you can just go outside today. Sorry, I just had a piece of dust on it. You just go outside today and find a stone. It doesn't have to be a fancy one. And you can meditate with it. Keep it, one that you really like. And you don't have to have an expensive crystal. So this is sort of the poor man's guide to meditation. Sometimes it's more powerful than a crystal because it's of the earth. And if we're focusing on grounding, any rock will do. The cool thing is sometimes they have natural sort of deposits in them. So you don't always know, you know, if it feels right, it probably is. I chose this one because there's something beautiful inside. This is really nice. This would help me with my throat, but this helps me with connecting to the earth. So grab a rock today, meditate, connect with the earth. If it's good enough weather where you live, what you could do is sit cross-legged in the grass. If it's not great weather, you could just go to a tree and put your hand on the tree and meditate for a couple of minutes. And you can use that as a grounding rod, okay? If somebody tries to take away your power, take a deep breath, ground yourself as well. With respect to love, the big question is this something I want to invest more in? Because again, this to me is a very casual engagement. And it's really the only cups card that we got. And then we got a mirror of it in the destiny card here. So to me, this means that, like I said, it could just be ephemeral, it could be short-lived, but you really have to have an open communication with whoever you're in a relationship with to just talk about hopes, dreams, fears, etc. I feel like there's potential, but I also feel like there's a lot that you need to do right now. So that person needs to be strong enough to exist in your light and not be intimidated. Likewise, you might need to sort of find a way to build up the strength to say what you need to say. So what I'm seeing with love right now is that you can't lose your grounding, and that maybe just being on your own for a little bit is okay. We'll look at it more when we look at existing in new relationships, but the focus here is on you, your safety, your grounding, your purpose. Finally, your destiny card here is 3 to 1. So for some of you, this card can show people ganging up on you. This is the gossip energy that can be a part of the 3 of Cups. So sometimes it's why when there's decisions that are needed, usually odd numbers are there because it's harder to have a stalemate. You're always going to usually have a tiebreaker. So with 3 to 1, you just need another person, and then you can gang up on someone else. So if it's a small group and they're pushing you to do something, you don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. If someone's trying to push you into allowing new people into your life and you're not ready for that, you don't need to do that either. What it does show me, however, is that you have a capacity to really have an impact in small groups. So the 3 of Cups and then this 3 to 1 tells me that if you have a business or if you're trying to make a change happen in your life, if you can work with a little tiny collective first, like a little group, doesn't have to be 3 people, it could be 10 people, it could be 20, then take that to a larger group. The small group consensus can then affect the larger collective. So why not try to get out of a big group and try to get those little tiny groups? Because again, you don't have to get all 3. If you get 2, then the other person will, you can actually use this to your advantage. So grassroots movements is what we're seeing here. Everything starts small, and then a lot of change can kind of swell out of that big, that little movement. Something big can come out of that. So a mini review, and then I'm going to move on to the next one because we have a lot to talk about. So the main thing that I really paid attention to with this was the dual stars, right? So we have 2 stars, 2 suns rather, and then we have 2 3 of Cups like energy here. It's a lot of people, and that's also, for some of you, a choice between 2 lovers, a choice between 2 friends, a choice between 2 things that you really like, a balance that only you can decide upon, and that's really the choice here. Good news for you, whatever you decide to do, you're going to hit it out of the park. You're going to be okay. This really is about personal development. That's why we're focusing on self first. So as long as you stick to what allows you to expand, you should be okay. We basically have an empress that has the world within her energy sphere there. So everything that you seek, you have. Once you see that, then it's not going to be hard to make that decision. It's really important not to have any limits on anything that you're doing, like in as far as sort of like loving someone, that it should be unconditional, it should be open-hearted. You don't have to say everything and argue about everything. It's really just about facing the facts, and I feel like that's what's important right now, okay? And as long as you stay grounded in your purpose, you're gonna be okay. So that's my mini review. I can't do as deep a one today, but we're gonna look much deeper into love, which is something that I get questions, like, can we go a little deeper? So today's my answer, yes, we can. But it's my unique approach. So we just focused on self. If you just joined, welcome. This is collective. If you're watching, you're meant to be here. So we just focused on things that you can be dealing with to be stronger, to show up better to people around you. I'm gonna start with existing relationships. If you're not dating someone, you're in good company, don't worry. This is not about that per se. You can use this as a lens for your lover or your partner, your husband or your wife, but you can also use this as a lens to friends or the person or people that you connect with most. Let's look at your existing relationships and let's clean them up a little bit. Let's see what's coming through as an opportunity to be stronger, to be better, to be brighter. Okay, I'm gonna use the Little Prince deck for this one. Okay, that card totally spoke up. Hopefully everybody can see and hear me clearly. Let me know if you can. One of my moderators said that the connection on her end stopped, but I feel like everything's looking good here because I can see you guys. Let me know if that's not the case. Thanks, Dakota. Glad to hear it. So we're going to look at existing relationships right now and how to improve those relationships. What messages are coming through for those? If there's any sort of chaos or any sort of opportunities, I'll try to help you navigate that as well. All right, some beautiful cards here. Let me, I'm just going to tell my other moderator it's all good. Okay, good. So let's take a look at the messages that came through for you. All right, so the first card, your catalyst, is the Water Guardian. And the Water Guardian here is showing me actually that the most important thing for you to do is just be in touch with your emotions right now. It says connect with your emotions. I would also say honor them. One thing that we sometimes try to do as healers, light workers, and intuitives is immediately look at what we don't like and try to change it. I would say the first thing to do is to just feel what you're feeling. So this is, very like Queen of Cups energy for me. You can't deny that which you feel. And if you try to sweep it under the rug, or if you try to somehow just sugarcoat it, then what happens is you're not truly experiencing the lesson. So sometimes that means feeling sad, angry. It can be feeling excited. It could be butterflies, because we talked about that, feeling a little bit of nervousness. So just feel it and then process it. And then you can allow your analytical side to come in. But really, it looks like it's okay. She seems like she's not in distress. She's just saying, feel what you feel. And then feel the next thing. Sometimes we fixate on that too much, and it's okay. If we look at pets and children, they go through their emotional ups and downs a lot quicker. So you can see a little kid go from crying to eating an ice cream cone and being really happy. The ice cream might be part of it, but they can kind of quickly go through the whole scenario very fast. A dog or a cat, same thing. One minute they're really scared, the next minute they're they're playing again and they're fine. So let's kind of try to take a note from like Six of Cups or even like the Fool energy, which is to transition through it. Feel it, then let it go. And like water, let it flow through you. Let's go to the center card here and see what could be triggering some of this emotional stuff between you and others. We're focusing on existing relationships. The first message with existing relationships to come through is the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles invariably is parent and child relationships, which I kind of hit upon in the self reading that I just did. So for some of you, this is really about overcoming the insecurity that you may have felt as a child because of things that were said or done. A lot of times this can be because a parent just didn't understand who you wanted to be, how you worked energetically, and they tried to sort of project their truth on you. I like that we see a well in here. To me, the well symbolizes all of the things which you have, but maybe you just haven't explored. So this is your chance to kind of go into that well of experience, into that well of possibility, and really start to explore, okay? So mothers, fathers, siblings, best friends, those kinds of energies are coming through predominantly here as someone that you, from the past, that you may have to do some healing. Maybe you just have to forgive yourself. It could have been that, you could have been a better brother or sister, or you let a friend down, but usually it's a parent or guardian that just didn't show up the way they needed to show up. What you want to focus on, though, is understanding that that was them and it doesn't relate to your self-worth. Five of Pentacles can impede with our ability to get paid what we should get paid, from also attracting the type of people that respect us. And what you want to do is see yourself as greater than or equal to rather than less than. So like, that's the main thing. You're all that and more, okay? And we have the Four of Swords on top of this, which is really putting it to rest. Also, for some of you, we see a hunter here and this fox is safe. Maybe putting yourself out of harm's way from someone who just can't or won't change yet. Change is something that someone has to want enough in order for it to happen. So I would say for you, there are some people in your life that it may not be worth right now putting that much time and energy into the relationship. Leave the door open if you would like, but focus more on your growth, your success, your happiness, and if and when they're ready to come through, they can. But for now, self-preservation and protection is really important to you, and that's what I'm getting with this card. It's also the easing of the pain of losing someone. It could be an ex in your life, maybe again, an ex that didn't treat you well, a parent that you lost, that the karma wasn't exactly where it needed to be. And these cards are basically showing that it's okay. That was then, and you're going to be able to move past that. Time heals just about everything. And the Four of Swords is a very gentle card for releasing the past. We have the Fool here reversed. So with the Fool, this is kind of what I was talking about with the butterfly. And we see all these beautiful birds here. I can't tell if they're crows or what, but it doesn't matter. So we see this taking flight, this new step, this new journey. So I don't want you to miss something new that's on the horizon. To me, it shows me that in the past, maybe you held back, maybe you didn't take that step forward. So don't let this person, whoever it was that was trying to pull you back, which I kind of picked up on a little bit in the channel messages, don't let them do it. As the final card was that I wrote earlier, I said, you earned this moment. Don't look back. I like that. And you don't see the Fool ever really looking back. Sometimes we want the Fool to look down, but this thankfully doesn't look like it's going to be a terrible jump here. So there's always a risk. There's always a leap of faith. Don't look back. Just look forward and look around you a little bit at what's in front of you, at what opportunities are on the horizon. Okay. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is the energetic sort of emotional stuff that we were picking up on with the water guardian here, or goddess. So Knight of Cups in reverse. Ultimately, it's usually a good card. It's showing that there's healing happening. The heart is opening. But when it's reversed, it's saying we have to process the pain. We have to acknowledge that this can't be, and I'm allowed to be upset about this. One of the most annoying things in an argument or a conversation sometimes is when someone tries to tell you how you feel, or that they know how you feel, or that you shouldn't feel that way. That is not good support sometimes. what you could do is coach someone in your life. Say, I'm not looking for advice. I'm not even looking for feedback. I just need you to acknowledge what I'm saying. I need to just talk for a second, and then open up, and then it would be good maybe to receive. But tell people how to show up. And it feels like some of you just need to talk. This would be a perfect example of where a therapist would come in handy. So if you need to find a therapist to allow yourself to be heard, to be supported, to be validated, by all means, go and do that. It's a sign of strength and success and well-being, okay? You can also channel the emotional energy into something creative, into something productive. So you could work on health, getting healthier, cooking, doing something for yourself. You could do home improvements. You could do an artistic endeavor, maybe even something that, processes the feelings like writers, musicians, poets would do. You could take something that's not beautiful and make something beautiful out of it. Somehow there has to be processing and downloading. Once that happens, good things will ensue, but that has to happen first. We have the Eight of Swords here in the crowning position, reversed. This is actually good to be reversed. This is showing revelation, the revealing, the unveiling of something. When the Eight of Swords is upright, typically as illustrated, you would see a person blindfolded, surrounded by swords, but there's always a way out. They just have to kind of undo the blindfolds. And so sometimes we're afraid to see what's right in front of our face, what right in front of our heart, right in front of our very soul. But this is saying it's going to be okay. Take a look, delve a little bit deeper. You'll get past this. It could be really exciting. Sometimes if you're waiting to hear if you got accepted into a school, or you're waiting to hear back from a job, or you're waiting to have someone call you back for like a second date, you're nervous. So let's release the nerves and just say, I can't wait to hear. One way or another, I'm ready. If it's no, then I can move on to the next thing. So I can't wait to hear, but I'm not going to fixate on it. So I'm going to focus on something else. It's probably good news. And even if it isn't, I can move on. Just kind of go through all that stuff and then let it go. Basically, open your eyes, open your heart, and assume that something positive could come out of it, right? There's a common trend with the Judgment card coming through. So what I like about this Judgment card, and there's a little bit of a analogy between this other, it's analogous to this card. Let me just pull it up real quick so that we can look at the two. So we saw in this Judgment card, she was reaching up to her higher self. And we see in this Judgment card, he's also rising up. And if you look in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, people are rising up from the dead. So it's a metamorphosis. Judgment is very metamorphosis, actually. So death and judgment, either one could have a butterfly on it, or both. You could have like the caterpillar on death. You could have judgment be the butterfly if you wanted to. But at any rate, this is about stepping into something new, and also sometimes having to rise above family, decision makers, friends, colleagues, etc., and being yourself, finding yourself, being yourself, right? So you're gonna discover who you are and what makes you tick this month. And we see the little prince here levitating above all these other people that may not understand what he's trying to do, but this is your moment to do that, okay? As you look at yourself, we had the King of Swords before, now we have the Knight of Swords here. It's important to take action. So I think first you start with words, but then you actually have to kind of follow through and walk the walk as well as talking the talk. So for many of you, that's what this is. This really indicates who you are and what you need to do. So there's a communication that needs to happen. There's something you need to say. There's something that you need to sign. There's something that you need to deliver. It could be a divorce, could be a new contract for signing like a house or a job or something, but it does feel like moving it forward through spoken words or action is really key. Now we have a page in the environment that's going to be received, but it could be received with revisions. The card was reversed, so someone isn't hearing everything that you're saying. I love that we see a page listening. Pages have to listen, or it's like a game of telephone where you whisper something into someone's ear, and by the time it goes through 10 people, it's something completely different. Go back and make sure that they heard you and that you heard them. Active listening and communication, super important, no matter what the level of engagement might be right now. Good news for you. If you're going through a difficult time, we have a possibility of healing, reunion, making it work. We have the Two of Cups. It's a really barren landscape here. I think he's on the moon. But it's a very barren landscape, and we see growth nonetheless. So if there is something that's been going on where you're lacking that growth, then it feels like it's okay, but both sides have to be contributing. Now with Judgment, let me look at it again. Judgment's in the near future. The decision probably sits with you. You could take it, you could leave it. You could stay, you could go. And it feels like for existing relationships, there is an important sort of deciding factor. Should I stay? Should I go? And we have the Queen of Swords here in the outcome. She's reversed. You should stay, but you should be able to speak your mind, to do what you need to do. There should be freedom. There should be movement. So for existing relationships, a quick recap before we expand it. The thing that seems to be affecting them most is what you went through growing up. Childhood experiences that affected self-worth. For some of you, it's hard to look at that. I understand that would be difficult if it's not fun. You have to find a way. This is where I think talking to someone and allowing them to kind of connect with you is going to be really, really important. Judge yourself with a better light. See what your potential is. Judge yourself in the way that they couldn't. See the good stuff, not the bad stuff. And if there's stuff that you don't like, choose to do something about it. Coming into your life, there might be a really outspoken person. We have the Queen of Swords in the outcome. So either coming back, coming in, or affecting the outcome of all of this is someone that's just going to come through and lay it all out for you. But I feel here like there is a chance to come back together. There is a chance to feel a sense of love, to also call someone in. If you are single and happy, and we're looking at existing relationships, the existing relationship healing that needs to happen is that you love yourself and you're lovable and you're ready to receive love. If you're in a relationship and the person didn't treat you well, you're going to fight for yourself so that that doesn't happen again, and then open it up so that it does. If you're happy in the relationship, I still feel like the other person isn't giving exactly what they should. Five of Pentacles, that's not exactly where it needs to be. Even though you would think it's 50-50, it's not. It's someone not listening to you. The most important thing right now is to be heard and also to listen to others. I would say for existing relationships, past the, not looking at the past, but looking more at the present, it feels like somebody just wants to speak over you, or you're trying to speak over them. So if communication has broken down, then it is time to move on, or it's time to get someone, an intermediate in there. We saw the Three of Cups before in the 3-to-1 card. It could also be bringing in a therapist to try to help you make sense of all of that. Quickly, with the expanded forecast, before we get on to new love, let's take a look at what's coming through. A man holding the heart here. The card is reversed. So it feels like some of you have given a lot of yourself to someone else. It doesn't have to be a man. We're just saying someone holding your heart. So remember the image from the previous deck. They kind of have a nice commonality here. You have your heart, and you don't give your heart to someone. You share your heart with somebody, right? This isn't like, what is it? I was trying to think of it, the Alice in Wonderland or whatever, the Queen of Hearts. But I watched the retelling of it on ABC where she kind of like reached in and took people's hearts. It's not like that. You always have your heart. Your heart is yours to share, but you don't necessarily give it to somebody. Let's look at it from a different light. And I would say in meditation, what you could practice doing is, I do a reclamation sort of meditation where you breathe in, breathe back your power, your energy, and return the other person's, clear it out a little bit. I was shown this from my guides before. You can imagine that you're drinking from two different cups until the energy is clear, or you can imagine that you're breathing the energy until it's balanced out and you have your energy, they have their energy, and it's back to normal. Because I feel like you've given too much, and this is just about reclamation. It's not healthy to give someone your heart. You should be sharing the energy, a little bit of them, a little bit of you, but not the whole heart, because then you've lost yourself, right? And then if they leave or if they do something wrong, it's too much. You have to keep you share you. This is the, whoever did this, I would put codependency on this deck instead, on this caption here. Because if someone is holding your heart, or if you're defining your love by this person, that's codependency. Okay? And all that you need to do to counteract that is to speak your truth. And remember that you are equal to or greater than or equal to the person that you love. They're attracted to you for a reason. So see that because you have something to offer, all right? That's what's going to be healthier, not giving so much, making sure that they're giving too, making sure that you're receiving, not taking so much, maybe for some of you that take more than you give, just the balance has to be there. Wealth, move. So we're looking at moving on, moving out, moving in general, moving your body. Maybe some of you are deciding to take some sort of a position in fitness or in the medical field or something like that. But moving your body in general is also going to break all of those energetic stagnations that exist and some of the cords between you and whoever it is that might be holding on to you too tightly. This could be a mom. This could be a dad. There could be someone who needs too much. And so you're going to balance this out, help them see that they are okay. But anyway, moving is key. And I feel like some of you could just be moving away from that sort of habit or away from that energy. But it's moving up, and it's very much like the judgment card here, right? It's almost as if she's connected with that higher self. So when it comes to career, higher path, higher calling, if someone tries to hold you back in a relationship, they're not really there to help you. They're there to anchor you. So that's part of the test here, okay? Let's look at the love relationship. Hello, we have so many echoes and synchronicities coming through. Listen to yourself, listen to others, listen. And we saw the listening energy right here. That's how you can heal existing relationships. That's how you can figure out what you want. That's why meditation is important. And that's why it's good to go and talk to someone that can listen to you, like a therapist, and help you figure things out. This is the divine feminine piece that was missing here. So we have, it says she loves here, and then we have this guy holding the heart here. Like I said, both of you should have your hearts. You should both, it should say he loves and she loves. It shouldn't just say she loves, and he's holding that. That's where I see there's some sort of lack of reciprocity. So you should give and receive. Just like we saw with the Empress card, you should be able to kind of harness all of that. I see an inequity. So the main thing that we need to focus on, I'm going to summarize it briefly, and then we'll get into new relationships. And then I'll make sure that there's time to meditate and do a final question. So the main things that I'm picking up on, past scars from your childhood. For some of you, the Five of Pentacles energy is something that had an impact on you. It could also be a partner that was not supportive, somehow made you feel less than. It's time to let this go and disconnect from that. It's also time to take a leap for yourself, do what you need to do, process your emotions. The Water Guardian and the Knight of Cups are saying to do that. And then what we see here is the Judgment card. I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm going to look at what I need to see and not be afraid of it. I'm going to speak my mind, I'm going to be heard. There is an inequity both with the Queen and the Knight here. I want to see both of you as like queens or kings, being able to just feel like you're on even footing, to be heard, to listen, to not give so much, to have someone give to you, and to feel like things are moving forward, that you're receiving as well, okay? Ultimately, I see a possibility and a choice for you. If it feels good, you can stay and you can celebrate. If not, it feels like moving on and expanding. It's on the horizon. And we see the Two of Cups and possibilities, which is a nice segue to get into who might be coming into your life next. Quick note here as I'm looking at all of this. If we were to abstract this to also like coworkers or just key people in your life, you could be shut down in communicating at your job. There could be someone where you're in a brainstorm session and they don't care what you have to say. That happened to me once, and that was one of the reasons I left the company. I'm like, I'm not going to just sit here and have all of the other people's ideas heard, and I'm not because I'm junior. That doesn't make sense. So you should be taken seriously irrespective of age or experience if you're giving good input. If people are not listening, talking over you, or somehow shutting you down, that's a very clear symbol that they're not celebrating what you have to offer. Okay. Let's now look at new relationships, saving for many of you what you're looking for the best for last year. But I like to start in this order. We have to look at who you are, what's going on now, before we look at who's coming into your life. And I always like to remind you that you are your person. So I'll be looking at new people that are coming in, but it all starts with you. And if everything's good there, then everything else will benefit in your life. All right. So let me see which deck I'd like to use for this. I'm going to use the Fountain deck because it's light and airy, and I feel like that's what we need. All right, so we'll be using the Fountain deck. All right, this is really about discovery as we look at new relationships. What are you calling in? Do you like what you're calling in? Are there any messages about what you're calling in? Let's take a look. It's also going to show me a little bit about how other people see you. One of the reasons I like to read with a lot of different decks is that when we start to see similar cards come through, they have a little bit more power because the likeliness that you get that in a universe of maybe like 300 cards is a lot less. So that's one of the reasons. And actually, as we have an extra one here I'm going to pull at the end. It just flew out. All right, give me 1 second to finish pulling here, and then we'll take a look at New Love, and then we'll get on to our meditation. And yes, if you just joined, it's a collective. Stick around. We're looking at new love coming in. Anyone that's present or watches this on replay will receive the message that they need. And all of this will be available immediately after. This is the first of 3 bonus readings. I'll be doing one around the 27th, I believe. If not, you can check the date on my website. And that one's going to probably, I think we have a retrograde coming up, but I'll work with my members to figure out what we're going to do with that. And then I'll do another collective on the 30th, Sunday. So the one will be the last Thursday of the month, and the other one will be the last Sunday of the month. All of my May readings are already up. My June ones, I'm about halfway through them, and I'll be doing Scorpio on Monday. Okay. Let's take a look at new love, new relationships, new connections. Because, just to review if you just joined, at the very beginning, I picked up on a butterfly symbol and the number 2. And the key feature that I was also picking up on was an ephemeral or short-lived nature. So let's see what's either lasting or not lasting about these new relationships and how it can help you or lift you up. Because some of these new relationships may not be romantic. They may actually be here to push you into a new path. Okay, we have the Protection Guardian, and she was reversed, and it's basically saying drop your shields. So there's a hesitancy to let people in. She's also, I love the interplay in a lot of the cards here. She's wearing peacocks, which is a divine masculine symbol, because male peacocks have the beautiful sort of plumage. So this could either be, I also like, I'm assuming it's a she. I just like that there's sort of a gender neutral character here, but it looks kind of like divine feminine with divine masculine energy, or maybe trans energy here. Protection Guardian, drop your shields. Don't worry so much, because one of the things that you want to focus on is this idea that I am strong enough, I can handle this. You've got the Empress. She's been coming through a few times here. This is the second time I think that I've seen the Empress. So basically you can handle anything that comes your way. Both of these cards were reversed. I'd like to see them upright. And I would like to see you feel like you've already worked on the protection and knowing who you are, and be excited to show what you have to offer. Because whenever I see a peacock in a totem symbol, what I would say with that is that you can't hide. It also has the star energy. You're supposed to show exactly who you are. You're supposed to be proud. You're supposed to be out there. So you earned this moment. And the way that you're going to attract people is by being yourself and by not holding back. Okay. The shielding could be coming because of the 5 of Pentacles when we were looking at existing relationships, because of family, because of an ex. So we shield ourselves and assume that everyone might be like that. And this card is saying don't, because if you over shield, and there is such a thing as overprotecting, if you assume that too much negative energy can be coming through, you're almost attracting that. So you want to put just enough protection up, but not go crazy. It's kind of like putting on 5 gloves, 6 masks, and there's a point at which enough is enough. It's not doing anything. You're just making it hard to exist. So a little bit of protection, then open up and see what's out there and assume that there might also be some good people. It's really important when you're trying to call in new people. Assume that there might be good and expect to meet some good ones and call them in as well. Coming out of your shell, same message, different card. We have the Hermit card here. You see the person walking in the snow. Instead of a lantern, they have a flashlight, but it's the same energy that we would normally see with the Hermit. It reminds me a little bit of the Little Prince. We saw a Hermit the other day where in that deck, he's looking up at the stars. We can kind of see the stars here in the background. This person, it's kind of hard to see the forest for the trees. It looks to me like it's a forest here, but it's just sometimes when you go into the unknown, you can only see what's in front of you. You can't see the big picture. You have to trust. Your heart's the compass. What you have in your mind is the compass as well. So if you see it, you breathe it, you do it. Sometimes you're only given that little beam of light. And that's what this Hermit is saying. Just trust that you're on the right path. You've worked hard to get where you're at, okay? We have the Page of Cups on top of this. It's interesting that the cup is outside of the box, which I like. I think the Hierophant in this deck does the same sort of thing. So unconventional love and expression is going to be important to new relationships. The person that you meet may not be the way that you expect them to be, and vice versa. And that's what's going to make it cool, because it feels like you have complementary energies, and you would be bringing in, like, this person also feels fun to me. So you want to be playful. This person seems to be playful. We have someone who has a sort of extroverted energy, or they're introverted until they're in a crowd, and then all of a sudden there's this social butterfly theme again coming out, peacock reminding me of the butterfly. So try to just spread your wings, put yourself out there, and give it a go. One thing that reading cards has taught me is not to judge the intuitive downloads. I see myself as a reporter, so I report. So when you're in a situation with friends and things like that, just be yourself and kind of like report and be present. And I think that's going to help you quite a bit. This is the one thing that could be holding you back with new relationships in your life. Do you know what you want? Do you know who you are? Do you know where you're headed? You need to kind of know all of these things in order to more effectively connect with the right sorts of people. The Two of Swords can just be sort of driving on cruise control, or, you know, it's almost like if you're on an amusement park and the ride is being controlled by someone else, and it's one of those kids rides and you're just going really slow. It feels like when we're looking at this other deck, you have to get on top of the chariot, look around, and maybe go in a different direction. But if you don't know, then no one else will. Don't look for clarity in a relationship. If you're trying to find yourself in a relationship, oh boy, you're going to get lost. The person is not going to help you discover who you are. They may help you discover who you aren't. They may help you discover new things about yourself, but only you can discover who you are. So that self-work needs to be done, and that's why we've been building up to this right now. Love the Star. So the Star came through recent past. It feels like you are starting to get an idea of what it is you want to do, but the card being reversed, we kind of see this person dancing a star, like a ray of starlight. I like that. So just reach up. Again, kind of going to this beautiful Judgment card, or the one that we saw just a moment ago with the Little Prince. Reach up and trust that you are worth it, that you can do it, because you're going to see it before other people can see it. Everybody that's been successful has a dream of the success before the success happens, and they just keep working at that. So dream the dream, do the work, follow through, and then you're going to call in a really high partner that also recognizes or kind of like resonates in that energy. All right. Five of Swords reversed. This is why we had that other card. Let me pull her up here. Where is she at? Here she is. The Peaceful Warrior. So the Peaceful Warrior is coming through to remind us what not to do. And it's to get involved in Five of Swords moments. Don't say things that you're going to regret. Don't try to get involved with or try to win an argument with somebody who always thinks they're right. Because what a waste of time that is, right? Just release that. Easier said than done, but just release that, move on, and try to rise above. We see him also trying to do the same here. Take the high road. So with existing relationships, new relationships, all across the board, I would say, try not to give away your power in that way. It doesn't make sense. We have the Ace of Wands here, and the Ace of Wands is great. For new relationships, what I would say, there could be a really strong physical component to this. You could, if you're not someone who normally sort of feels that chemical rush, or you really want to be connecting with someone physically, it feels like in romantic relationships, there's definitely a strong physical connection. In a coworker relationship and a friendship, you're seeing eye to eye. This is kind of being on the same mental plane. Ace of Wands is a really good card to have. This is someone with whom you could work and partner and do some really cool things. There could be a little bit of a blurring between the lines. You might love someone and also work with someone. But either way, I really like the Ace of Wands card. It usually shows the ability to develop, to move. And because of that sort of like-mindedness, you're not going to spin your wheels as much and waste any time. So I like this. It's boding well for new relationships. It's in the near future state. As we look at you, your ego this month, we have the Empress card. She's reversed. So there's a couple cautionary notes with the reversed Empress. She's been reversed a lot today. An upright Empress is in control, is kind of like this peaceful warrior. She knows who she is. She knows what to do. A reversed Empress sometimes holds back, pulls back, tries to control. This could indicate a boss or a parental figure in your life, or a partner who is trying to pull you back. Like we said, this is an ego. So you just want to sort of stand up and say, no, we're both empresses. We're both queens. We can both do this. We're both kings. It doesn't matter. But just basically be strong, stand your ground. She's in a sort of, looks like she's in a pond here. So I think that for some of you too, the emotional energy, which we saw one reading ago, could be difficult. You have to sort of process how to deal with what we saw with the water guardian here. You have to feel how you feel, but not get sort of buried in those feelings, right? So I think that's going to be really, really important for you. But ultimately, an Empress is still good. She's the queen. She can get stuff done. Focus on your life, your things, and expect that what you say should be listened to. Don't doubt your authority, and don't overreach, and don't sort of micromanage. If you do, if you basically just focus on doing your thing, give advice as needed, give advice when asked, and then use that gentle warrior card that we saw and hold your own in a way of, hey, you said you're going to do this. You better do this. That's enough. You don't have to overdo it. Powerful people don't have to show they're powerful. They're just powerful, right? If they have to say it, if they have to show it, if they have to overcompensate, you don't trust them as much. In the environment, now we see who might be coming in. We have the King of Cups. He's reversed, but it's still a really good energy. So the King of Cups, as far as partners go, it's a really good energy, and friends as well, because this to me is the epitome of sensitivity, strength, lovingness, creativity, the ability to just sort of be in touch with oneself. The card is reversed. So one thing that I would say is that this person has all of those capacities, but may be in a place right now where they're being also pulled a little bit. So, you know, maybe there's something going on in their family, in their personal life, in their health that's taken them off their balance a little bit. So they may need a little bit more than they normally do. Look at the track record that this person has, or the reputation, and see if this is just an odd moment for them. Because overall, I really like the King of Cups energy. But you have to be willing and ready and able to deal with someone that might be a little extra everything right now. And if you are, then I feel like it's okay. The one thing that seems to be coming through is, like I said, you're either eye to eye, or if it's a physical relationship, it feels like there's strong chemistry. So remember what we looked at just a moment ago. Communication is really key. You should be able to speak your mind and speak freely. And we don't want to be seeing any of the, we don't want to be seeing any of this. So you should be able to live and love freely without someone requiring too much control or whatnot, because then that starts to get into a weird territory. Okay. Opportunities, Page of Coins. Some of you might be offered a new job, or might have some sort of a new personal investment that you want to kind of pursue. When the cards reverse, it can mean like you want to go to school, you want to take an offer that's presented to yourself. You might also want to decide to take some stuff that you've saved up and reinvested, change something. There definitely is a monetary component to this one, or some sort of a resource component. Try not to emotionally sort of get in your way of making that happen, because I feel like you're going to be fine. And hopefully this person around you can support and celebrate that. Let's go to your dual outcome cards. So the card that I picked was the Knight of Wands, and the card that came out was the Three of Wands. We'll start with the Knight of Wands. So this could be a new person coming through in the future. Knight of Wands is fun energy because very demonstrative. I feel like you can typically read Knight of Wands by, this would be someone who would just be affectionate, would also be someone who's kind of, I talked earlier about walking the walk. They know who they are, they do what they want. They're very much easy to read on most things. The only thing is you may not get the verbal affirmation that you need. So what kind of person are you looking for in your life? To me, this is someone who shows that they love you. They don't say that they love you, or they show that they appreciate you. They don't say that they appreciate you. So it can be a little frustrating, right? It does feel like there's a positive energy around this. So the challenge, we got the Three of Wands, and this is the second time the Three of Wands came through. We saw it in the near future, and now it's in the future. So I see some positive energy around a fire sign. Seems to be someone who's very expressive, idea-oriented, action-oriented. And if you're more communicative, then that'll be the main challenge for you, is how to work with someone who shows but doesn't say how they feel. There also seems to be a lot of deep emotions between the two of you. So finding a way to maybe meet in the middle would be good. And then maybe you show a little bit and say a little less. And then maybe you ask them sometimes how they feel. I feel like this could be a way that you could navigate what seems to be a little bit of differing communication styles. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. There's nothing. Notice today, by the way, we didn't get any Devil cards. We didn't get any Tower cards. We didn't get any Ten of Swords. So you all seem to be in a pretty good space. The only thing that is kind of over all of this is the butterfly. So for some of you, you need to leave or move out of something to move into something. And so there is death, transformation. We got judgment a lot today. So there is a decision that you have to make before you can step into this new opportunity. Mostly looking good to me from what I can see. So new relationships seem to be pretty well sort of situated. But before we move into the expanded, the one thing that seems to be affecting it is you could be protecting yourself too much or pushing away an opportunity that could be otherwise good. Other people may have a hard time reading you because of that, and ultimately could delay the eventual meeting or connection. What you need to do is have some fun, think outside of the box, be like that peacock and show the feathers and be yourself, share your ideas. And if they get shut down, this isn't the place to be then. It's time to find another place, whether it's a relationship or a job. You need to be able to express yourself. Let's expand it. Let's look at health, wealth, love, and destiny in respect to the new relationships. Well, I can't get away from the Three of Cups, can I? It says community, but I'll be darned if that isn't the Three of Cups. So we have this sort of power of three, and also the power of working in small groups. And with the Three of Cups, that's what I read when I see this. With the Three of Cups, what I see is take your time. It's dating on the earliest levels of dating. It's sort of like you're not getting too serious. You're not putting the carriage before the horse. We saw the chariot way back at the beginning. And you're just saying, let's just get to date 2, to date 3. Let's see what the next thing shows. Let's get to know each other. So I'm getting it as the universe just knocks me over the head with Three of Cups or representations of Three of Cups, because there's been a lot of them. I would say that this is a chance to just really get to know the person. And maybe for some of you, if you're having a hard time finding someone that you're connecting with, it's because of this. The more you know yourself and what you're trying to do, the better things fall together and fall in place. When I coach people in a one-on-one reading, a lot of times what I would say is, what's your planetary goal? What are you trying to do? So if they're unhappy in work or they're unhappy in relationships, if I don't know who they are and what they're trying to do, I don't understand why they're engaged in some of these things. So try to figure out what your big purpose is, and then make sure that everything, including relationships, somehow support that big idea, that big purpose. And then you're going to get more permanency. We'll move from the Three of Cups to the Two of Cups or the Ace of Cups, or we already have the King of Cups. Feels like there's potential for love, and we have the Page there too. But there's a little bit of maturity gap between a lot of these. So when we look at this, the Page and the King, I would say it feels to me like there's either you're not sure if you're deserving or ready for that. It's just a lot of work that you need to do. So work on yourself, and I think things are going to get more stable, get more where they need to be. All right, let's look at wealth and self-worth. We have spiritual support. So this is where I was talking way at the beginning about the spiritual family that you have, the chosen family that you have. It's not always your mom and your dad. It's not always your sister or brother or whatever. It could just be a best friend or a coworker, and you really have this strong connection. That's your family too. That's your soul family. So whether you share that or not, biology or not, it doesn't matter. It says, I allow you to support me more and become more spiritually aware. So this is your time to kind of lean on those people to open up. When we're looking at wealth this month, just being willing to invest in yourself, even if or especially if coworkers, partners, or other people in your life won't. You're the one that's going to do the investment. You're the one that's going to make that decision. Okay. Let's look at love, and then I'll look at the different court cards that popped up here. Do the work. So this is kind of the karmic reunion that I was talking about. Karma equals lessons. And once you release the karma, then it's not as much work. It's more fun. It's more just being present. So let's look at the work between them. Between the closest energies that we have, you were coming through with the Page of Cups at the center. The person around you was coming through with the the King of Cups, rather. So this is very much in, can I or will I receive it? And then it's also a big difference because we're missing a Knight and a Queen between this. So I would say that for some of you, you could either feel that someone's out of your league, that you're not sure if they mean what they say, that it's too much to process. So give yourself time. I don't like to see that much of a delta or difference between the two. I want to see them at least one card apart, or preferably the same sort of level and in different suits. But anyway, I would have liked to see King and Queen, but we have Page and King. So to me, this could also be for some of you. We talked way back at the beginning about like a mentorship opportunity. This could be leaning on a teacher or a friend or someone that you really trust, and they're going to help you kind of spread your wings and do what you're supposed to do next. Okay. The other big relationship that came through was at the end, which was a Knight. And we got another page here, but this page is really about you investing in yourself. So the Knight of Wands is the person on the horizon. Like I said, with this, somebody who's worth the work, but is a little bit of work. So this is somebody that has a lot to offer, could be a little stubborn, has some great ideas, shows how they feel, but may have a hard time with articulation. And that is something you'll have to figure out. Do I want to do the work? Question mark. And if I do, then let me do the work and stop complaining, and it will be okay. All right. And finally, self-initiation. I like this. This is your final card for destiny. This is what it's all about. And for some of you, this is, like it or not, you're starting a new phase, new journey. And I feel like it's kind of quick. We talked about 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It's not a long time. It's not more than a quarter of the year. So you're already started on this. And this next person, this next phase is actually a part of that. And so they're either going to come with you, or you're going to move quickly and then you'll move on to someone else. This person has to feel right if you're calling in a new friend or love interest, because you don't have, I feel like on some levels, you don't have the time to invest in that. So either they're going to reciprocate or you're going to move forward, and there'll be someone else based on what I'm looking at, especially with this card, my friend. The Star card is really good. The Star card and the sort of peacock energy of the Protection Guardian, very much the same. You can't hide who you are. So the more you are who you are meant to be, the more that you're going to attract that sort of image that I saw at the train station, all the friends, the family, and there's going to be more. I saw new seats. So really lean into the star energy, have fun with it, and ride that ray of light. Okay. That is your new love reading for today. And before we get into the meditation, to kind of help influence the meditation, because we're running short on time. So these tend to run closer to the 2-hour mark. So sorry, but we're doing 3 readings at once. So I appreciate it. All right. So let's take a moment here to pull 3 cards, past, present, future, to look at what we can focus on in this particular reading, in this particular meditation, I should say, so that I can help you call in what you need to call in. I think I'm still going to probably work again with butterfly energy, but let's see. All right, I'm glad we got the Ace of Cups here for this. So if we were to tell a short story with this, I would say the Three of Pentacles tells me you have already done some of the work here. And this is also, the way I'm reading this karmically is that you've already learned these lessons in past lifetimes, and all you need to do is kind of open your Akashic records or your book of life and just kind of look into your soul and say, yes, I know who I am. I deserve this, this, and this. I've worked for it. I'm ready to receive it. Do not fear failure. Do not hold on to pain or disappointment. Learn from those experiences and know that they do not define you. This is a time to rise above. We saw judgment much more than we ever saw this card. So judgment is rising again. The butterfly is rising again. And ultimately, we want to fill the cup up. I don't want it upside down. So that's what we're going to focus on in this meditation, is how to basically fill your cup up. So this is about unconditional love, receiving love and abundance in the highest forms. So let's meditate here together. Before we meditate, just a couple quick notes. First of all, I hope you enjoyed this today. I occasionally will do special readings like this. So if you like it, let me know by hitting the thumbs up. We've got a lot of people here and there's a lot more room for likes. So only hit it once, but if you haven't hit it, hit the thumbs up. If you're new and haven't subscribed, subscribe, please. I have 15 videos that I do per month, 12 sign-specific ones, and you can watch all the May readings already, and the June ones are partially underway. If you would like to show support, I see a lot of great super stickers and super chats. I'll look at them all later. You can do that by using this icon right here. And then on the replay, you can use the applaud feature. That helps me with all these various decks that I use, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me. Got a lot of channel members, so if you want to give back in a consistent way, you can click the little join button right underneath the video. You get some special emojis for doing that. And also follow me on social media. Almost everywhere, I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. And I use the story features to remind you of what's coming up. And Ashbaugh on Twitter. And if you have any doubt which is my official social media platform, just go to my website, click on social, and it's all listed there. Okay. I also have a book, but I'll talk about that at the end. Let's focus on the meditation. By the way, thank you to everybody for liking and subscribing and commenting more. It's definitely helped with engagement, and I've seen a difference. So when this is on replay, just leave a comment. It helps more than you know. I appreciate it. Okay, close your eyes for a second. The meditation will take about 2 minutes, but it's going to be important in basically bringing together everything that we talked about today. So stick with me, and then I'm going to pull a single card at the end. So if you have a question about love that I haven't somehow already dealt with, then hold it in your head, hold it in your heart, and in about 1.5 to 2 minutes, I will pull one more card at the end and we'll wrap up. Close your eyes, please. Take a moment to just pay attention to what you might be holding on your back or your shoulder, since we got the Ten of Swords. And you can, gently move your shoulders forward and back. You can also gently move your neck from side to side, or if you have the flexibility, you can roll it around in a circle. You can do that while I'm talking, and I want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're in a beautiful spring forest and you see beautiful flora and fauna. It can even be on like another planet if you want it to be sort of imaginary and beautiful. So you're seeing every color in the rainbow with all the flowers, and you see a beautiful, almost life-sized butterfly that's in front of you. The wingspan is as wide as you could reach your arms, and it lands on your neck for a second, on the back, because we saw the Ten of Swords. As it reaches out its wings, you feel like you're starting to get lighter. Your energy is not as heavy. And as it flaps forward and back, it starts to create this energetic cyclone or circle around you, calling in all the rainbows of colors that are around you in this forest, aligning with your chakra colors as well. And you also see this sort of rainbow of light that's starting to form in front of you. Allow the butterfly, which is really large, to almost life-size, to lift you up and take you across this rainbow as we do this meditation. And as you're being lifted through the rainbow as well, feel the vibration of each of the colors as you're doing this, and feel that the heaviness of this life, of this experience so far is being, it's going to come down like raindrops. It's going to just disappear from your body. And then we're going to go to the other side of the rainbow, which can be your happier tomorrow, which can be your Ace of Cups. You can land in your own Ace of Cups and just feel like this beautiful energy overflowing, okay? Take a moment to reach out your arms, your hands, stretch them out. Feel that you have the wings of the butterfly behind you. And as you take this next breath, I want you to allow the butterfly to meld into your energetic sphere, just to allow it to become part of you. It always was part of you. It was just showing you your capacity to move. And feel that you have this emblem now. It's on your heart, it's on your chakra, it's in your body, the wings are behind you, and it can lift you through any situation. And now look at this beautiful representation of the Ace of Cups in front of you, and leave the meditation with the feeling that I am ready for love and abundance in all the highest forms. It's good to add highest forms because that will make sure that it's the best of the best. All of this and more. Now think about whatever question you might have for me. And give me a moment here to shuffle the cards, and let's take a look at what's coming through for you. Let me decide which deck I would like to use for this. So I'm going to read it as a yes and no, and then I'm also going to read it as, I know which one. I'm going to read it as a yes and no, and then I'll also go a little bit deeper. Okay. Oh, judgment, our friend. Okay. As a yes and a no, this is a really important one. So it was judgment reversed, but let's look at the judgment card upright. It's an open door, and it's a door into the cosmos. I like this. This is called the Prisma Visions deck. I will add it to my website today. I haven't done that yet, but with this, I really like this one. What this is showing us is yes, but only if you do what's necessary to open the door. There's definitely a caveat on this yes. You need to believe in yourself, and you need to believe that you're worth it, or the other person needs to believe that they're worth it or that you're worth it. Disbelief stands between you and the yes maybe that you seek. For the rest of you, you know what to do. It's time to do it. It will be okay. It's a change, yes. What a great card to end on, because this is the butterfly. We were talking about death and judgment being the two different forms. I would have a chrysalis in death, and I would have judgment be the butterfly. So thanks, butterfly. You have to leave something behind in order to get what you want. Way back to what I said right at the beginning. It's basically a nice bookend for today's reading. So it's a yes, ... but do you believe in yourself? Are the people around you supporting you the way they need to? If not, it's time to change that. You need to support yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And if people around you can't do it, then they're not really there. They're fair weather friends, or they're holding you back. Change is imminent. Change is happening, and you can't stop that. All you can do is choose to react in how you want to deal with the change that's right in front of you. Okay? What a cool card to end on. What a great image too. This deck reminds me a lot of Starry Night, like the Van Gogh paintings or whatever. It's beautiful. So anyway, hopefully that helps everybody. Time to step into that new opportunity on the horizon. Lots of synchronicities, even as we were looking at yourself, the old relationships and the new relationships. And it's a lot of fun to read. This is my take on love. It's not your person. It's a lot of what's going on around you, and it's a lot of what's going on within you. So there you go. If you liked what you saw, like I just said earlier, you can check out all of my May readings. I always do them a month to a month and a half in advance. The June ones are partially done. I'll be back again tomorrow, and I'll start putting some promotional stuff up so you don't forget. But Scorpio will be on Monday. And then I will be back at the end of the week with Sag and Capricorn. And hopefully you guys can join me. Okay. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Again, this is one of 3 bonus readings. I'll have another one around the 27th, another one on the 30th. You can look at my website for more information. The bonus reading that's in between those two, I'm going to probably work with channel members to somehow affect, because I try to give back a little bit to the folks that support me. And all that being said, have a great day. Special thanks to both Maria and Dakota for sticking around for like 2 hours. I appreciate it. Lots of love and life. See you guys soon, and take care. Bye.